just, I love it so much. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Bethany's Thoughts. My name is Bethany. In celebration of Valentine's Day this past weekend, because I think when I'm uploading this, it's going to be past, it is going to be some of my favorite contemporary romances. This list of favorite contemporary romances, I had to go and really search for these ones of my favorites because I wanted to make sure not to mention ones that I had already talked about in 2020 or that I had already had in my Kindle Unlimited recommendations. So that means a few of these are kind of old school, but all of them I have rated 4 or 5 stars too. I still think it's a pretty decent list, and I thought I would share it with you in celebration of Valentine's Day this past weekend, which, like, I feel like even though Valentine's Day was on Sunday, like, we can spread the love all year round. So there you go. My first one on this list is going to be The Rosie Project by Graeme Simsion. I think he's the only male author on this list. Yeah, only male author on this list. I mean, I use the term romance loosely because it is romance. I definitely think it's a romance. I feel like it was a romance book. But some people would argue literary fiction, but with a very strong emphasis on romance. And The Rosie Project is about a guy, I can't remember characters' names, sorry, but he's about a guy who is portrayed as being somewhere on the autism spectrum. At this point in time when the book was published, Asperger's was still a common term to use. Now, Asperger's is not something that is used nowadays. Now it's just on the autism spectrum. So the male character is portrayed as being on the autism spectrum. He is looking for the perfect wife, and he's going about it very analytically. In doing so, he meets a woman named Rosie, who he thinks is the worst of what he is thinking is going to be supposed to be his perfect wife. He has a whole list of criteria, and Rosie goes against everything on his criteria list. But also in doing so, he decides to involve her in his project to make sure that he finds the woman totally opposite of her. It's really, really fun. And I think this was my first time reading about from an autistic hero. And I really, really, really liked this book a lot. I listened to the audio. I strongly recommended the audio if you want to listen to an Australian accent. It's delightful. I really ended up enjoying this, and I still feel like it fits for contemporary romance. Again, I would say the romance, sexiness-wise, is very, very tame, like women's fiction variety. But I think that the book in itself, if you really love character-driven books, and then this is for you. It's a lot of fun for that reason. Especially as something, especially with this autistic hero, and you're interested in something different like that. Yes, I definitely strongly recommend. And we'll go into the next book, which is going to be The Bride Test by Helen Hoang, which also features an autistic hero. This is about, I believe his name, I think I remember the characters' names in this one. I think it's Kai and Esme. And Kai is autistic. And what's great about this is Helen Hoang is also autistic, so its own voices. Kai is autistic hero. Esme is a woman that his mother brought over as a mail order bride for Kai. And Kai really has no clue what to do with Esme. She's living in his house. He's like, I don't even want you here. Why are you here? And Esme just really, really wants it to work out with Kai. She's really attracted to Kai. She thinks he's a really great guy. Slowly, they really start to build a connection. And I loved Kai in this book. It was so sweet and so cute. And I think I really actually enjoyed this book more than The Kiss Quotient, which is the first book in that series. Definitely recommend The Bride Test. A lot of fun for that. And then the next one I have for recommendations is going to be Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. I know I have my Target sticker on here. It just stays there. It's what happens. I really loved this book. This is one of their more modern books, or one of their more recent titles compared to some of the other more old school stuff that they're known for that are a little bit more spicy. This is a little bit more more in their women's fiction area genre for romance. So we have Macy and Elliot. So Macy and Elliot this is a second chance romance, which I think is when I discovered that I loved second chance romances after reading this. Macy and Elliot meet together as kids. They form a really strong relationship as kids, kind of delves into romance for them as well. And then they're split up by a very tragic event. You don't know what the tragic event is until everything's revealed towards the end. I really liked this one, especially because I really liked Elliot. Elliot, I thought, was such a great male character, and I think maybe he was a refreshing male character for me at the time because he wasn't an alpha. He was actually like very communicative and really like willing to talk about feelings. And I just think that there was really something refreshing about Elliot that I really, really liked. And him calling Macy on, like, just tell me what's going on. Like, there was a lot of really great communication in this book that I really enjoyed. Granted, like, the secret is still secret until the end, but he still tries to bring it out of her the whole book and constantly tries to communicate and for them to get through their issues. And I just really enjoyed that. And I just really enjoyed Elliot. Like, he's like this nerdy, really sweet kind of, I guess you can consider him. I mean, he makes some really bad choices when he's young, but like, I think he's as close as enough to a Cinnamon Roll character that I could call him that. I just really, really liked his character. And so I really liked the two of them coming together. And again, this was really the book that did it for me, that I, knowing and learning that I really like second chance romances. And next on my physical copy I'm going to mention is going to be Prince on Paper by Alyssa Cole. When anyone mentions this book, I'm always like all over it on Instagram because it's one of my favorites. So this is from the Reluctant Royal series by Alyssa Cole. I love this series. I'm obsessed with the series as a whole. I enjoyed all of them. This one, though, in particular, was my favorite of the series. And it's the third book in the series, and I feel like not enough people get to the third book. A lot of people read the first and the second, and they never read the third one. And so I want more people to read the third one because it's my favorite. This is about Naya and I think he's pronounced it Johan. And he's a prince. And Naya's been through some really tough emotional abuse from her father. So trigger warning for that. And Johan had a death of a parent. He has like a whole like badass portrayal that he does in the media, but that might not necessarily be who he is. And Naya, who's been meek her whole life under her really oppressive father, just really finds an inner strength. I really, really enjoyed the two of them coming together and finding strength and love in each other and acceptance in each other when they both had really rough times through their lives. It's just really, really enjoyable, and I really, really like the two of them. And fake dating, which is always a lot of fun. They fake an engagement. Just, I love it so much. Oh, and features a non-binary side character, which is also fun too. Great representation for that. So, yes, I love this book so much. It's one of my favorites. Next thing I'm going to recommend is going to be, granted, I haven't liked any of her recent works lately, but I really liked How to Date a Douchebag series by Sarah Nee. Books 1 through 3. I did not like 4. This was a book series that is about a wrestling team that it's considered more new adult. These are all on Kindle Unlimited. So more college age, new adults usually typically like college. And it's about a wrestling team and the guys in the wrestling team. These particular 3 guys that the first 3 books about are definitely douchebags. And not always in a bad way, like they're not like mean, bully, terrible guys. They're just kind of jerks. And just kind of say really dickish things, or one of them ends up being kind of seems really cold, and one of them just mouths off all the time, which he's my favorite. And them getting connected to the women that they meet who really, really sees themselves, and you really learn about how they are the way they are, and there's just something really great about that. I really, really like this series. I really like these characters, and they're the best to Sarah Nee, honestly. I don't think I've read some of her other series, and they just don't seem to stack up to the Date a Douchebag series for me, so they're a lot of fun. Again, those ones are actually on Kindle Unlimited, so you can check those out if you have that. And next I have The Bridal Quartet by Nora Robert. This is a book that needs an adaptation like yesterday, this book series. I don't think either of my former roommates watch this and watch my videos, but if they do, they should be really excited that I'm bringing it up because we were obsessed with the series and we talked about an adaptation ad nauseum. So, the Bridal Quartet series. So basically, it is about 4 women who run a bridal business. One of them is like, she's like the bridal man. She owns the house, and she's like the manager of the counselor of the whole bridal shebang. One of them bakes cakes, one of them's the photographer, and one of them's the florist. And all four of them find their matches in the men that they meet. I would say number 4 is definitely my favorite, but I think the first 3 are also very, very good. Yes, they're just really, really great, and they're so fun, and they would make an amazing adaptation. And now after Bridgerton, this is definitely one that needs to be on the list for me. If you like Nora Roberts is not everyone's cup of tea, but I think this is one of my favorite series of her overall. After I've read about 4 or 5 of her series since this one. So, and next I'm going to recommend In Your Dreams by Kristen Higgins. This is book number 4 from the Blue Heron series, which is small town romance. I think there's like a winery involved. And in your dreams, she needs a date for the wedding. And she gets, I think, the local sheriff to be her date. And I really liked her and the two of them coming together. I've read 3 or 4 books from that particular series, and I always really enjoy it. I think it's a kind of a fun series. They do, a lot of them do some flashbacks in them. This is a small town, so a lot of them are interconnected or have history with each other. There's one in particular that I really, really liked the hero, but I could not stand the heroine, so I didn't recommend that one. But if you like small town romances, I can recommend the series as a whole. I think overall they're enjoyable. And last but not least, the last one I'm going to recommend is The Great Escape by Suzanne Elizabeth Phillips. It's one of those books that, I don't know if I loved it when I read it, but it's a romance that I think of often. So this particular one, she is a runaway bride. She is a young woman who's getting married to the perfect groom, and the day of, she gets so overwhelmed with how she's supposed to live this perfect life because she is, I believe, a character from a series, and I want to say she's like the president's daughter or a former president's daughter, and she's had a lot of like things burdened on her to live this perfect life and be this perfect person. She can't handle it anymore. So she decides to bail the day of for her wedding and leaves with the bodyguard. I believe he's the bodyguard. I don't think he's the best man. Leaves with the bodyguard and goes to live in this house. And I think she's there for like a couple months as she gets to know the bodyguard more. She gets to befriend neighbors from the house that she's living in. And she just kind of stays low as she's trying to get through this and figure her stuff out. I think the one thing that I really liked about this novel is the setting is really, really gorgeous. Like I viscerally felt the setting. I think the setting adds a lot to it, as well as that there's a really sweet second chance romance between 2 of the side characters, and they're like an older romance that was really sweet and that was really fun to see. That's interwoven in between the story. So I really, really like this one. I kind of love a runaway bride trope, so I think that's a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed it, and so I thought I'd include it and list on this recommendation as well. And there you have it. Those are some of my favorite contemporary romances. Please comment down below what's your favorite contemporary romance, or if you don't read contemporary romance, then what is your favorite romance in general? I would love to know. That is it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you saw and want to see more bookish things from me, please subscribe and hit likes and bells. I would really appreciate it. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye!